The Secretary General of La Francophonie says that Cameroon is not alone in the fight against Boko Haram. Michael Jean is on an official visit here in Cameroon, and also in this newscast, traders at the Mbopi market here in the economic capital Douala fear that they might be the next victim of fire disaster 2 weeks after 2 markets were affected by the inferno. We hear in this newscast how they are mapping out strategies to that effect. These are headlines. Details in a moment. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right here in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, with the visit of the Secretary General of La Francophonie, who has assured that Cameroon is not alone in the fight against Boko Haram or the activities being perpetrated by the Islamic sect in the far north region. Michael Jean, who is on an official visit to Cameroon, also confirmed the organ's commitment in the fight against maritime piracy, which is a major barrier to countries in the Gulf of Guinea. Reinforcing the cooperation between Cameroon and La Francophonie is also at the center of her visit here in Cameroon. Roland Akong tells us more.
How well is the cooperation ties between Cameroon and La Francophonie? The question is the substance of the meeting in Yaoundé Tuesday between Michael Jean, the Secretary General of La Francophonie, and over a dozen members of government of Cameroon. The Secretary General of La Francophonie revealed that her organization wants to reinforce cooperation ties with Cameroon in many sectors: education, culture, the betterment of women, the state of law, vocational training, sports, to name these few. A mobilization which she says aims to accelerate Cameroon's growth. Elections Cameroon, the National Decentralization Council, are among other structures in the country which have benefited from the support of La Francophonie, which Cameroon joined in November 1991. Michael Jean acknowledged the role Cameroon played for her to become the Secretary General of La Francophonie November last year during a summit in Dakar, Senegal. Jean Atangana Amugu is bathed in a warm bath of applause as Michael Jean introduces the Cameroonian University professor as a director of cabinet. Coming to Cameroon at a time when the country is tackling terror provoked by Boko Haram, Michael congratulated the Cameroonian army for challenging the Islamist terrorist group. Visibly saddened that the Chibok schoolgirls have not been found 1 year after their abduction by Boko Haram in Nigeria. Michael Jean shared the agony of the grieving families and called for global mobilization, solidarity and vigilance against terrorism.
And talking about the actuality in Nigeria, today we remember over 200 Chibok girls who went missing in Nigeria 1 year after they were seized by the Islamic sect Boko Haram. The question that remains is whether there is a possibility for the girls to be liberated. Aggrieved parents still have the memory fresh on their minds. Details with the Dutch Welle TV.
This little girl is the pride and joy of the Imos family in Chibok. Her mother and father would like to be looking ahead to the future with optimism, but they can't forget the past. It was a year ago now that they lost one of their 6 children. 17-year-old Comfort was kidnapped by the terror group Boko Haram. Her parents haven't heard anything from her since.
Now if I think of my daughter, even if there's food in front of me, I cannot be able to take it. I cannot be able to take meal at all. If you saw me, this is not my body at all. Because of this, my daughter, it caused me such.
We don't know where our daughter is. We don't even know if she's alive or dead, and it's devastating us.
This is the school in northeastern Nigeria where Comfort and more than 200 other girls were kidnapped right before their final exams. Boko Haram claimed responsibility. Its members have been murdering people in the region for years. The group's leader, Abu Bakr Shekau, said the girls would be sold as slaves. The kidnapping sparked an online global campaign, Bring Back Our Girls. Michelle Obama and many other celebrities took part. Governments also offered help in the search. It took weeks for Nigeria's then President Goodluck Jonathan to react to the abductions. Later he promised repeatedly to find the girls. But the security forces were unable to track them down. Meanwhile, the victims have largely vanished from news headlines.
For the parents, some of them have reconciled themselves to the fact that their daughters are gone forever. The government still keeps trying to reassure us, but we have not seen any sign. The neighboring countries have not said anything, so nobody say, it's like the girls have just vanished into thin air.
The frustrations are sending Nigerians back out on the streets. Many mark today's one-year anniversary by protesting, like here in the capital, Abuja. Their message is clear: they won't forget the missing girls.
Mobilization there in Nigeria to remember the over 200 schoolgirls that were kidnapped by Boko Haram militants in Nigeria. Now, if the over 200 schoolgirls were kidnapped, that was precisely on the 14th of April 2014. National and international efforts have so far yielded no fruits as Boko Haram keeps multiplying attacks and abducting women as well as young girls. Veronica Aji now takes us back to the unfolding of the events from the time of the kidnapping till date. Her report.
April 14, 2014, a group of men stormed Chibok, a Christian village, and abducted over 200 girls from a secondary school. Weeks after the kidnapping, parents and relatives of the girls took to the streets of Nigeria and the social media to denounce the slow reaction of the Nigerian government. Goodluck Jonathan, president at the time of the tragedy, openly called for help from world powers on the release of the schoolgirls. But Abubakar Shekau, leader of Boko Haram, claimed responsibility of the kidnapping and said he sold the girls into marriage. This immediately sparked global outrage, with Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai and U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama joining the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, which gained thousands of followers on social media. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and UNICEF condemned the abduction. The president of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria called on Muslims to fast and pray for Allah's intervention. Global powers such as the United Kingdom, the United States of America, France, and even China all agreed to send experts assist in the search of the 219 Chibok girls. But their intervention seems to have strengthened the Islamist sect, which kidnapped several other women and girls in their numerous attacks in Nigeria. 1 year on, parents and relatives of the lost girls are still in pain with no news of their daughters. Nigeria's incoming president Muhammadu Buhari has promised to crush the insurgents but raises fear over the possible rescue of the girls. It is reported 57 escaped of 276 originally kidnapped, but Amnesty International and NGO says those still held captive have been forced to convert to Islam, forced into marriage, and even turned into sex slaves. As the world over remembers the abducted girls, the issue is still unraveling, but no one seems to know exactly where they are or what might have happened to the girls.
Veronica Aji, they're coming back to the history of the kidnapping of some over 200 schoolgirls in Nigeria. Now, the press and villagers are not allowed to go to the Eboko Bajo forest that is in the Kupe Manenguba division of the southwest region of the country where the U.S. plane was found. The order is from the senior divisional officer for Kupe Manenguba and the Sinketong. That was yesterday. The fact-finding team which went into the forest of the Eboko Bajo to get details of the missing plane is back. Let's have the details with Derek Jato.
This is that forest where the American plane disappeared sometime last year and was recently discovered hundreds of kilometers into the heart of this Eboko Bajo forest.
The only people that get authority for passing are Nigerians.
On instructions of the administration and the village chief, Equinox Television is guarded only into the entrance of the forest. The Cameroon government has warned that no media should carry the plane crash story with the images of the wreckage. Security forces are just back from the site, and the story is true. The American plane crashed on the Cameroonian soil. But what brought the American plane down? No aviation experts at the moment have visited the site. Plane crash investigators have not yet started. The black box is still with the plane in this western Bakossi forest. 4 countries are involved. The American plane left Kano in Nigeria for Libreville in Gabon and finally ended in the forest of the southwest region of Cameroon. It is clocking 1 week since the plane was discovered. No official statement has come from any quarter.
All man picking the way and there for a boko by Joe. Joe don't talk say what for say everybody for here. As you, the one for say all man for here. Man picking them. And so the blow they go, may any man go for Chief Palace.
Spotted in the Eboko Bajok village is Mr. Kweton Hadesin Konge, Senior Divisional Officer for Kupe Maningoba Division, holding secret meetings with his collaborators. He will later address the villagers.
Me all man look up now. Yes. You look me and look you, you look me, it look you. Don't be so.
Bakossi people are with the government, for the government must appease their ancestors that brought forth the missing plane by bringing development in the...
A report there by our special envoy to Kupe Manenguba, Derek Jato. We stay with you to talk about the 3 persons who found the missing U.S. plane have revealed that they were searching for a medicinal plant before discovering the wreckage last Thursday. They have remained hopeful that there might be a huge compensation for them as well as the villagers. Derek Jato once again tells us more.
My name is Naluboka Oliver. What describe how you be seen? I've seen a plane. I'm not discovered.
He is the first person that discovered the American aeroplane missing since June 2014. Then went back and informed Mutia Ivo and Elobe Mutia Al-Haji that were in the same forest.
As he tell me, he finish chop. As he chop, he carry we go for day. One come, one see, na some parties.
This Tere youth then took the news down to the village. But what is catching more attention now was the motive of this Tere youth to trek 12 hours into the forest before their discovery.
So we go for Court Maum. We go there now for Court Maum.
They went in search of a special bark of tree, locally called here Maup. A chemical that is put in palm wine. It is believed here that the substance better the taste of the wine and at the same time kill all the germs, and health-wise it has no side effects. Today the value of Maup has gone beyond its initial functions. Maup now has been added some cultural values, respect and honor. Maup, a tree that brought them development. To the villagers, if not because of the search for Maup, the American plane could not have been seen. The chief of Eboko Bajok village is seen in constant meetings with his close aide.
All what I'm trying to tell my population is to calm down, and we wait for the Americans or anybody or any authority that has to calm down, because for now we are not sure who is coming. The only people whom I've seen now is the administration and the law enforcement officer. So we are giving them all what we have seen and what we have.
Something big is coming to the population. Nature has brought their own fortune. Expectations are therefore high in this western Bakossi village of Kupe Maninguba division. This is that road that leads to the forest where the American plane disappeared sometime last year. The road to Ekobajok forest is highly enclave, and the population of Ekobajok said this might only be their own opportunity for the Cameroon government to hear their cry, and of course what they need for the wreckage to be evacuated from the site is good road. Derek Jato for Equinox Television News.
And just to note, after the report by Derek Jato that the team of reporters of Equinox Television were deployed to the field were not allowed to have images of the wreckage of the American plane that was found, and it went missing. That was about 8 months ago. It fell in the Bangem division of the Kupe Manenguba, the Bangem subdivision of the Kupe Manenguba division of the southwest region of the country. We thank you for that report. Now, a fire disaster is imminent at Dembopi Market here in the economic capital Douala, 2 weeks after an inferno ravaged scores of shops that was at the Central as well as the Congo markets respectively. The uncoordinated construction of shops and poor electrical connections have left shop owners in total consternation. We hear in the following report that traders have started devising precautionary measures. At the Mbopi market in Douala, traders are gripped with fear. Their worry is that their shops are exposed to fire outbreak or might be eventually affected in case a nearby store is in flames.
We also have that fear and tendency that it might also occur in our own market. So when you hear of fire burning in other markets, it scares us. And we pray that it don't come to our own market because we are feared to lose our properties. Because I think after the fire disaster, you have to start again from the root, which is not really easy.
The haphazard connection of cables is a general problem in the market. This trader who decries the phenomenon says that at least 7 people are connected to a single meter, which makes it impossible for shops concerned to escape a fire disaster. Shops are tightly close to each other and a majority constructed with makeshift material. He explains that it delays the entry of rescue team into the market when an outbreak occurs.
What caused the fire is when the shop is too close to each other. This one can take fire and transfer to the other one. But now we try to separate and give enough.
Shop owners are now working together to see how to avoid being exposed to a fire disaster.
We are trying to put things in order. All the illegal connection like wires that bring the fire disaster, we are trying to put them in order. We are trying to make upstairs or in all the markets. It's not like when it was Karabot, when fire can catch all of them one time now. When fire catch one place, it will just only the place. It cannot go to another place.
But there is no guarantee that an inferno can be avoided. And more than 60 kilograms of fish has been set ablaze at Boadibo after it was discovered that clandestine fishermen use toxic waste to kill the fishes. Local fishermen want order to be restored in the sector. That is their cry to local authorities in that part of Cameroon. Jacques Kwekinge tells us more.
Fishing is fast becoming a dangerous activity, not only to fishermen of Boadibo in the Dibombari subdivision, but even to consumers. Fish caught in the Mongo River in this locality can be very dangerous to the health. This follows a recent confrontation between local fishermen of Boadibo and pirate fishermen who use toxic substances to kill fish and do not respect rules and regulations governing the sector. The recent confrontation, we are told, led to bloodshed, seizure of fishing materials, and some 64 kilograms of fish which had been killed with toxic substance by the pirate fishermen.
Toujours comme ça, cette fois-ci, ils m'ont menacé à mort. Moi, je me suis défendu.
Once informed of the situation, Chief Elongo of Boadibo alerted the Dibombari Gendarmerie and the veterinary doctor to assess the situation. Fish, which according to the chief, if consumed, can be very dangerous to the health.
Tu manges un poisson comme ça, tu arrives chez toi, tu pars aux toilettes, le ventre, ça ne va pas.
After examination by the veterinary officials, the 64 kilograms of fish was incinerated to avoid being consumed by inhabitants, as the fishes had been declared dangerous for human consumption. This product, we are told by the veterinary official, is not only dangerous to the health of humans, but even to the environment.
L'écosystème est directement détruit sur des dizaines de kilomètres lorsque le produit est mis dans l'eau.
The local fishermen all the same are calling on the administration to do something in order to bring order in this sector of activity, which seems to have been taken over by charlatans. The matter is still under investigation by the Dibomari Gendarmerie, as the incident led to the arrest of some fishermen who are presently helping the law enforcement officials in their investigation.
Now, the governor of the Northwest region of the country, Adolphe Lafrique, has urged newly installed regional delegates to strictly implement the 3-year development emergency plan of the President of the Republic. He equally told them to make sure that the projects are properly executed to transform the region into an El Dorado. This was during the installation ceremony of some 5 regional delegates, that of scientific research, public works, transport, economy, and that of industries. Let's now listen to an excerpt of the various delegates that were being installed recently. They were speaking to Njini Edmond.
Head of state's wish, that women get involved in the building of this nation. It's also a fight that our minister, the Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation, has put up to see that women serve as they're supposed to serve in places that merit. I give them thanks for all this, and I give thanks to God. To work to do what research is supposed to promote in this region. First of all, to improve productivity in all our fields. There's always been the complaint, that research results are not seen in the field. We are here to see and help that it is seen and felt by the population. Thank you.
The domain in the Northwest this year is quite challenging. We have some big road contracts going on. The Kumbu, as all of you know, is a big contract that is going on, almost going towards the end. My aide, Akum Bali, which is going to serve as a bypass to the road that passes through Banunda town, is ongoing. I want to think that there is a major bridge that is being constructed in Olorun.
Reactions of newly installed delegates in the Northwest region of the country, they're compiled by Njini Edmond, bringing us to the first segment, or the end of the first segment of this news. Time for us to meet our guests. Good evening, Mr. Yam Timber Dominic.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talking Point. You're an actor of the civil society. With you, we are going to be taking a look at Nigeria 1 year after the abduction of some over 200 schoolgirls, and also La Francophonie, the Secretary General, is in Cameroon. We begin right away with the actuality or what's happening in Nigeria. It is 1 year now that more than 200 girls were kidnapped in northern Nigeria. Up to now, their whereabouts unknown. After all the assurance from the national, continental and international community, nothing has been done so far. What's your reaction?
It's not the time for words. It's time for action. The only way to bring these girls back, or to know exactly what has happened, would have been to a special commitment of all African countries, because terrorism is not only the concern of Nigeria, it is a concern of whole Africa, and people should commit to this. But the best way to do this is that African Union should have a kind of African terrorist or high crime task force that should be collecting information all around Africa in all the countries, like you have Interpol. It should be the same organization of police, but specific to Africa. This is the only way we can come to master what security issues in our continent, and this is the only way we have to be sure that this kind of event should not occur. And if we had this task force, we would have known today where the girls are.
To have said that this is time for action and not time for words, do you think that the cry for liberation of these over 200 schoolgirls was more of words than action? Are you questioning the efforts that were put in place by the international community, the government of Nigeria?
It is not the problem of the international community first. It is the problem of the Africans. Do they want to live in a continent where they are free? Do they want to live in a continent that they know, that they really manage and that they really lead? The leadership of such actions should not be the leadership coming from abroad. It is not people from the international community that should tell us what we have to do here. It is Africans that should sit down, puzzle about what they have as a concern, and try to design the solutions that are really fit, that should fit to the situation and to our continent.
Have the actors concerned been able to handle this crisis
They
properly?
can do that. They can do that, but the problem is that we don't have the right leadership at the head of our countries to lead such actions. We need to have people who will focus on Africa, who are not having all their time out of Africa or talking about situations that are occurring out of Africa, that are identifying themselves to situations that are occurring out of Africa, but that should identify themselves to situations that will live in our streets, in our roads, in our schools, in our houses, in here, Africa.
Now, these over 200 schoolgirls were kidnapped by the Islamic sect Boko Haram, and we remember the new president of Nigeria that succeeded the president, Goodluck Jonathan, has vowed to fight against terrorism and not excluding Boko Haram. But unfortunately, should I say, he admitted that there is no certainty that he might be able to lay hands on these over 200 schoolgirls that were kidnapped 1 year ago. Is that a message of hope to the aggrieved parents?
It's a realistic message. It is the message of a political man who is saying this is not the problem of only Nigeria. You see, Interpol have been founded because people discovered that if they want to tackle criminality around the globe, there should be a union of different police forces in the world. We don't have such an organization in Africa, and that's the message behind the words of President Buhari.
Now, coming back to the issue of La Francophonie before time cuts us short, the Secretary General of La Francophonie is in Cameroon, and she promised that Cameroon is not going to handle the Boko Haram phenomenon alone. What can La Francophonie bring?
Nothing.
To the fight against Boko Haram?
Nothing. Francophonie don't have an army. Okay? We should be realistic people. Francophonie don't have an army, and all these reminders of the colonization should stop. We don't need Francophonie to do what we have to do with Boko Haram, but we need to discuss with real partners who have armies and who can send soldiers or help or support or equipment here. Not people who will come. That's what I've told you. This is no more time for words. It is time for action. And Francophonie is just a place where people talk.
How is it beneficial to Cameroon?
Nothing, for nothing. Really, nothing.
Cameroon has not benefited from
nothing to do with that. Look, America is not part of an organization, the USA are not part of an organization with the Great Britain, okay? Indonesia is not part of an organization with the Netherlands. Brazil is not part of an organization with Portugal, okay? I don't know why Cameroon is part of an organization with France. If we need to talk with France, we talk with France. If we need to talk with Senegal, we talk with Senegal. We don't need to have the organization that collect former colonies of France and tell them to talk together. We need to talk to people who can bring for us equipment, support, and real assistance.
Unfortunately, time is against us. We thank you so much, Mr.
I'm the one to thank you
for joining us tonight on Talking Point. We hope to have you some other time again.
Okay,
so our viewers, we thank you as well for being part of us in this edition of the news. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.